Schools have become a significant part of the education system here in New York City, and experts say minority students from lower income families benefit most from the city's charter schools. The Black and Latinx communities and Asian charter collaborative BLACC BLACC was created to ensure that all families of color in the state can access excellent, high-quality public charter schools.
But now with the influx of migrant students entering the system, the group says it is ready to meet the challenges and be part of the solution. Joining us this morning, Reverend Al Cothfield, founder and executive director, LaMad Academy Charter School. This is in Brooklyn, and Charles Ortiz, executive director, Wynn Music Community Charter School in Washington Heights. Thank you guys so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
This is an important time of year. This is when we're getting back into the grind, getting kids and the parents back to the school system. But I got to speak on behalf of parents who pay a whole lot of taxes to make sure that their kids have quality education. They are absolutely worried about the situation with this migrant influx because they want their kids to have the best education. What is LaMad Charter School doing to make sure that New Yorkers are still taken care of, but you're still taking care of migrants as well?
Well, I think we're a city of immigrants, right? We all have, a lot of our children have parents and grandparents who are from somewhere else than the United States. And so there's a heart and compassion and empathy for these children that are coming in with no place to go. And so we have space, and we're accommodating. We have teachers that are ready to step up to the plate, if you will, to be able to help these migrant kids get situated in our city.
Charles, let me ask you though, is the funding for this there? Because you're opening up your doors to a whole other kind of population where there is needs for Spanish speaking, different languages, not just English. I mean, you're opening it up to get funding from the state, because that's why you would be doing this. It's not just being empathetic, it's also a business decision as well.
Yeah, I think, excuse me, everyone in this sector really does prioritize the needs of children. And so I think for us, it's really about being able to work together and to get the resources needed for all of our students, knowing that many of them are migrants and many of them are recent migrants. So for us, it's really about connecting with people across the city in different platforms and in different spaces to make sure that we can provide everything we possibly can so all of our students can succeed. Because we're not really putting one against the other. We want everyone to succeed, and we believe, at least at the 22 schools that BLACC are a part of, that each of us are great schools that can really help children thrive.
And you guys have space to take these migrant kids right now? I mean, you would have the space?
Yes.
How is the city doing in terms of communicating and sort of making sure that if they're not going to fit in the public school system, maybe they have the options here? I mean, are you finding that there's a reasonable discussion happening here?
Charter schools are public schools, right? But I think that the city currently does not have anything in place to help us enroll children, migrant children, into our schools. It is a crisis, and in the crisis, you have to be able to step up and make pivot and try to figure out ways to do it. And we have to do things differently to get the children in our schools. But if we have the space, we could accommodate them. And then going back to the
are they giving you the opportunities to have these kids?
They have not so far.
They have not. And so the city put out a statement. It's a lengthy statement. I want to read the whole thing here from the Department of Education. They say, quote, regardless of their immigration status or language spoken at home, every student deserves access to high-quality schools that meet their unique needs, as we have done since we launched Project Open Arms, which is the program that they started earlier this year. We will continue to work with students, families, and partners to ensure newcomer students have what they need in our public schools and that our schools are well equipped to support these needs. Project Open Arms reflects our department's coordinated effort to support our students and our schools, and this effort will continue in perpetuity as it always has. The new fair student funding formula prioritizes students in temporary housing, which will also help schools to provide necessary resources for our newcomers. I mean, it's kind of a long way of saying we got this under control. Do they have it under control right now? Charles, what
I mean, under control. I think that the city does have open arms, and I'm so grateful to be in New York City. Like, you know, Reverend Al said, we all come from somewhere. And so I think right now there's an opportunity for local, state, and federal to really work together so that we can extend those open arms to everybody. Because when we all have open arms, our open arms can grow exponentially.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I think we're figuring that out now, and I have the
But it doesn't sound like
faith.
we're working together, because what you're saying is we have the ability to do, but we're not doing it.
Well, I think that it's, as we approach the new school year, now is the time, which I think is why there's such a focus on it right now. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that immigrant families know that they can apply to our schools, and that we want to get in touch with them as soon as possible so we can help bring them.
That sounds like something the city needs to do to coordinate with you guys. But let me ask you a question, Reverend, because the mayor was just pleading to the media not too long ago, saying, if you're an ESL teacher, come over here, we'll hire you. Do you, if the mayor's saying we don't have that currently right now, since he's begging for it, do you guys have that?
So it's teachers have been scarce since the pandemic.
Right.
That's just across the sector. That's
now, ESL
not charter
teachers.
schools or public schools, traditional schools, private schools. They've been struggling with that. So it's always been a challenge to even have English as second language teachers, right? But they have them. We have them. They may not be certified teachers, but they can educate, they can communicate with the children. And that's what we want to do. Once we can communicate with children, we get them in our facilities. There's also resources that we're tapped into the community that can also help the migrants if they're not safe. Our spaces are safer than them just being nowhere out there doing nothing all day.
And that's such an important aspect of the charter schools, is being right there in the communities, knowing what's going on. We've got to wrap it up real quick. But Charles, what's the benefit, would you say, of having this option here right now in this crisis that we're in?
I think that there are so many great schools, many of them charter schools and many of them the schools that are in BLACC, that really can meet the needs of English as a second language or multi-language learners. And so the most important thing is that families know we're here and know they can apply, and then, you know,
but you got to get the city on board.
Educators are ready to go.
You got to get the city on board. You're friends with the mayor. Call him up.
I am friends with the mayor. I'm friends with the administration. Chancellor Banks. Listen, it's a crisis. He's stepping up to the plate. He hasn't run from the plate.
Right.
He's looking for leadership from Washington, D.C. to help, but we are heading in the right direction, and we're partners, and we're going to continue to help the city move forward.
All right. Well, we hope to see that. Thank you, and good luck for all the students
going
going
into school. School year's about to start.
No,
like it just this one summer just kind of flipped by.
Yes,
Here we go.
it did.
Does it not every single summer?
You can never stop time.
I know. Well, good luck this year.
All right, Reverend Al Cockfield and Charles Ortiz, thank you guys so much for being here.